come to my attention that you have been flirting with my man. Like every single time I think about the situation, ne, it makes me want to fight. Just makes me want to pull some hair and actually throw some punches because hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. Welcome back if you are a golden oldie. Today, we are going to talk about friendship breakups. While I do my skincare routine, I feel like we should just get right into it. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday and we're talking about friendship breakups, and she was asking me about something that I have gone through myself. And I was just like, are we living the same life? I don't understand how it gets to a point where, as a girly, you are very comfortable, very comfortable with accusing your best friend at that, your best friend, of wanting your man or something like that, you know? And I just found out that it's actually more common than I thought it was. When it happened to me, I was just like so confused. Till today, I am so confused. It's been like years ever since it happened. And most of the time, once you get to that point with your friend, there's no turning back and you can't really come back from something like that. But yeah, let's get started. Let me tell you what happened. Grab your drinks and I need you to sit down for this because it's going to be wild. I'm going to use my favorite gel cleanser. It has hyaluronic acid in it. Just a background, ne? I feel like with like the reason why we broke up, ne, is not from like the accusations. It actually started way before that. The whole thing was initiated when I started realizing that I'm an ngathi mina umngani wami but mina angisiye umngani wakho, and it genuinely felt like that. And at that time, ne, I wasn't really, seeing the things that I was supposed to see until my best friend, who till this day I blame every single time. Every single time this comes up, I tell her that we broke up because of you. Okay? At some point before I moved here, I lived with my best friend. Not the friend that the story is about, but my actual best friend. And I remember this one time, ne? That's how everything actually started. When I got my car, I remember I was with my best friend when I went to get my car. And then because the friend that the story is about, because she was like speculating like way before, dude, like, did you get a car, I was like, I want her to be one of like the people that sees my car, and so let's go to her place. Obviously we went to her place, showed her the car, drove back home, life continues. Like, that's just how everything started. Like, my best friend got to like meet her and we would like randomly spend time with her. Fine. Fast forward to like one night, because with like my current best friend, we try to always be honest with each other, even if it's not something that you want to hear. So this one night we are in bed, we're just talking. I don't even remember how the conversation started, but then she was like, hi man, are you sure this person is your friend? And I'm like, what do you mean? I got my car, then after a few months I moved into like a new apartment. So, while we're in my like new apartment together, she's just like, I've never heard you say she came over to see your new apartment, but we always go to her place, we visit her, like, you speak highly of this person, but I've just never like heard you say that, hey, she came over, hey, she did this. Like, she's like, I'm not trying to be a hater, I'm just trying to understand how your guys' relationship work, because I understand the kind of person that you are. And from what I'm seeing right now, I feel like you are being played. After she says that to me, I'm like, actually, I can see. Lento ishoyo. I can see that, yeah, you are cooking. And then, so the bottom part, I'm not sure if I want to put it on, because if I put it on, I'm not going to be able to speak properly, but let's try. I just have to hold it up, because usually what I do is that whenever I wear a sheet mask, I add this like as the cover, so that my mask doesn't slip and slide. Okay, so it feels like it works. Then I'm just going to keep this on for as long as I can. And I'm going to try to be as clear as I can, So, after that, like after she said that, I was like, okay, I can see what you're talking about and you're actually cooking. I took some time because it was at night. Like she literally said her piece and she went to sleep. And I started thinking about it and I started reflecting. I started seeing things for what they actually were. Because my problem, which is something that I'm currently working on right now, is that I sugarcoat a lot of things and I put on a lot of lip gloss on like stuff instead of seeing them for what they actually are. For example, if a guy is like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to be in a relationship, instead of taking it as you don't actually like me, I'll probably say, oh yeah, he's busy, it makes sense, he's going through a lot, it makes sense. With the mask, I keep my masks on for as long as I can. So I don't do the recommended 10-15 minutes. I usually do like 30-45. So you'll probably see this mask on for majority of this video. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it is the greatest tip ever. I feel like my masks perform better when I leave them on longer than recommended. Try it, let me know what you think. I'm not sure if I texted her the very same day or if I texted her the following night. But I then texted her, I wrote a paragraph, and I was like, actually, I'm not happy about our friendship. I started sharing like my feelings and just sharing my POV, how everything looks on my side. And so I was like, listen, I'm not happy about our friendship because I feel like I take you as my friend, but you don't treat me as your friend. Like you treat me as an extra, in your life. You treat me like I don't want to say I'm a fan, but I didn't exactly say it like that, but you could put it like that. You treat me like a fan, basically. My main issues were that if something important, significant is happening in my life, you are nowhere to be found. And when I literally am always there. I'm always there. Like, I'm always present in your life. You're never present in my life. Even at the car. Like, dude, I drove my first car to your place to show you. You don't communicate stuff. I felt like she treated her other friends better than me. And it wasn't really, I won't say it was really an issue. Let's just say I didn't really see it until my best friend was in close proximity and she was like, dude, are you sure you guys are friends? Because, Haibo, like, you treat this person like a real one. I remember at some point she had just moved into like her new apartment and she didn't tell me most of the things. She wouldn't really communicate with me. I'd see them on Instagram and I'd be like, how? Awesome, Jalang. And then she'd be like, oh, sorry, this is what's going on. So, for example, if she's like hosting something, I'll probably see her shopping for it on Instagram or like doing something related to that thing. And then when I comment on it, that's when I'll like get an invite. Like every single time I think about the situation, it makes me want to fight. Like it just makes me want to pull some hair and actually throw some punches because I name the stuff that I'm not happy about, that I feel like you're my friend but I'm not your friend. I have to literally beg for your attention or literally beg to spend time with you. That's another thing. It was very difficult to spend time with her alone because there was just always like her other friends or like her boyfriend. And I didn't mind that because me and her boyfriend were actually cool. So I actually didn't mind that. She wouldn't, I remember when I moved out for the first time and I lived in a back room, she never visited me. I was the one throughout the whole year who would go to her place. I would even sleep over. I was just always that person who was active in the relationship. So I then just mentioned that, this and this and this has happened. I feel like I show up and I show out for you, but you don't do the same for me. Guess what? After that, what happens is she texts me back. She obviously says, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. It was not my intention. Then, instead of letting the apology marinate, she was like, Mara, but nawe, you did this and this and this and that. And in my head, I was like, oh my goodness, wow, really? My main issue with the whole thing was that if I don't communicate with you, it was very rare for her to like initiate a conversation. Most of the time, I'd be the one who initiates the conversation, and then I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. How are you? I'm just checking on you. Or like I'll call her and all of that. And then obviously she's going to reciprocate that energy for like a few days. Then after that, it's like dead. And now you need to understand that this person is still very much active on social media, still very much active with her other friends, which is fine. One thing about me, I don't mind it if my friends have like other friends, because I also have other friends. I brought forward like as an issue that, for example, I would feel like we truly connected and we truly like we are connecting and we are friendshipping after I had gone over to her place and spent time with her. So that would then, after like spending time with her, whether it's a weekend or like a day or maybe like I slept over, then for that week we will be initiating conversations left, right, and center. We are talking, we are having fun, and then obviously it disappears. I'm a very low maintenance person. Let's just say person, period. I don't ask for much. And guys, as nice as that sounds, ne? You will never get great experiences in life if you show yourself as this person who doesn't need much. I grew up being a very low maintenance person. I've never wanted to be a burden to people. But I promise you, right now, if you're watching this, it literally doesn't get you anywhere. Like in my 25 years of living, I've never gotten a star for being a low maintenance friend, a low maintenance girlfriend. Instead, what those people do is that they will go to the people who demand a lot of attention and who cause a lot of havoc, who cause a lot of chaos, and they will go there and give them everything that they want. And they will leave you like that with your low maintenance vibes. I brought that forward. I was just like, if I don't initiate spending time with you, you don't do it. I try to be there for you in like whether there's ups or there's downs, you're moving, like I'm just always present in your life. I'm just always helpful. But Guena, if I don't say, I remember a month after I got my car, we got into like a mini accident and I was supposed to move into like my new place, and now I don't have a car. And I remember I wrote like a cute little, not cute little, like it was just a weird blurb on Instagram, just saying how much I felt like sometimes God hates me. And she viewed that and she didn't say anything. You know how when your friends are like, yo, I wish I could KMS, you are going to be like, hey, dude. For example, I know if you post something and you're like, I want to KMS, I'm going to text you and be like, hey, are you fine? Do you need anything? She never said that. My friend was like, Aibo, that's actually questionable. I also spoke about when I moved out for the first time, I lived in someone else's like backyard. She never visited me even once at that point, and I visited her for the whole year. I didn't mind. Second time, I moved to an apartment, like student accommodation ish, like res style ish place. She only came twice, if not three times. And most of the time when she came, it was with her boyfriend, and they would be picking me up or dropping me off like downstairs. And they only came in once or like twice. And then When I moved to like my official like big girl apartment, I only came like once, and that was after we had, fallen out and had that fight, and I told her that I actually don't appreciate being treated like this. Then she came with flowers, with balloons. She only came that one time. I think with my friend, ne, her frustration was like, dude, you are this amazing person to people. You are always present in their lives. You always help whenever you can, but you don't recognize when someone is not treating you the way that you should be treated. Does she know where you live right now? Because literally, when she said that, at some point I was just like, ah. And then she started shouting because she was like, I'm not going to take that. I am not going to take your answers right now. She was like, does she know where you live right now? And that became a part of my argument. I was like, I would literally die tomorrow. Would find out months later that I died, because if I don't do something, make some actions in our relationship, you won't do anything. You won't initiate anything. You don't even know where I live right now. What if I don't even have a place to live? That was my whole argument, okay? When she responded, she's like, oh, I apologize. My intention was not to hurt you, da 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 da. But I've also always wanted to speak to you about this. We can't fully be alone together because you make me uncomfortable in some situations, certain situations. At that point, she had like her own like business, and I was obviously working my like 9 to 5. She also said she doesn't work like regular hours like me, so it's very hard to find time. This is someone who lives 10 minutes away from where I work, mind you. And it's like, why are you moving away from like the initial point, And why are you now turning around and putting the blame on me for the reason why I'm complaining? I don't like speaking over the phone. Like, it's one of my, is it a pet peeve? Because I feel like a lot of things just get lost in the sauce, and I don't want that. So instead of speaking via text or like calling each other, I normally want to see you in person so that we can get each other very clear, understand each other. If we need to beat each other up, we can do it right then and there, okay? I then told her that, listen, can we meet up? I'm gonna come to you, because that's another thing. I'm a very quick babe, hey? Like, you wanna footsie after I got a car. You wouldn't tell me anything. You want us to sort things now. Don't worry, I will come to you. I will come to you right now. I went, we spoke in the car, and I told her, and I was very honest with her. I was like, listen, you are making excuses. Yes, I work a 9 to 5. Yes, you work sometimes, because she would always, her only excuse would be, but sometimes I work 20 hours a day. And now, one thing that she would forget is that I was around her a lot of the time. And one thing about me, you can't lie to me when I see and I know your routine. I've been around you. I know that sometimes you literally sit, you don't do anything, you don't work. And I know when you lock in, So you can't lie to me about that. So she would say things like, but sometimes I have 20-hour days. And I'm like, dude, I'm not asking you to see me every day. If you actually care, and that's when the if they wanted they would point comes in, because I work 10 minutes away from you. I work in Santon. You're always in Santon. And she would always like say, but I'm always there for like meetings. My best friend and me, till today, ne? Obviously we live very far away from each other, but we make time for each other. We made time for each other when we both worked in Santon. We both worked hectic jobs, but we would meet in Santon and drink during the day. I don't own 100% of my time because I work for someone else. You have your own business. You own your time. You can't tell me, Gutuena, you can't come to my job and be like, hey, I just wanted to say hi for 10 minutes. As I said, I'm a very low maintenance person. Do you know how happy it would make me to just show up and be like, hey, for 10 minutes, hey, how are you? Are you fine? Or let's meet at Doppio Zero. Let's have a drink before you go back to work. Like, I'm not asking for too much, but then she would still complain. I feel like this is like the background of why this whole thing actually really started, because till today, I don't know what happened. This is the first part of like what actually happened. We fought a few months before we actually broke up. We spoke about it, and then obviously I told her, I was like, listen, you're making excuses. I also work. I also have a life, but I always try to make sure that I include myself in your life. I still make time for you. I still make time for your things. But with you, I have to fight and I have to complain, and I'm not going to have that. We say we are going to meet up again at a restaurant and we're going to talk it out. And then I was like, because I know her boyfriend is, I believe her boyfriend is a very like mature person, and we wanted someone who was going to be like very neutral, and I knew that he could do that. Even though he had the opportunity to favor her and like be on her side, I knew that he was going to be neutral. To the restaurant, we talk. The guy's like, he's like, you need to be more of a friend to your friend. You need to speak up, because I also struggle with like addressing stuff. Mina, if ngikwatile uzobona sengikwatile, and you'll be like, what's going on? I struggle with being confrontational, and most of the time I confront people and situations when it's like too late, which is what I did in this case. I let it brew and brew, and when the bubble burst, that's when I was like, now we can talk about this. And now I'm just like mad at everything, and I'm just not willing to understand. So he's like, you guys need to sort your thing out. You are both wrong in this case. Then she comes over to my place. She brings flowers, she brings balloons, and like everything is fine. See? We continue with life. And then obviously when we get to the restaurant, she tells me that her home back in KZN, they were gonna have a traditional ceremony, because I'm Zulu, traditional as fuck. So she was like, hey, let's go to my mcimbi. We continue, they plan everything. I wanted to talk about the weekend, but it's very difficult to talk about the weekend without talking about the background and how we actually got to the point where things are just like very weird. When it's time to go, as I did say, like, I'm very pro my friends need to have other friends, because as I grow, I've realized that there's friends for everything. So I'm pro having your own friends outside of our own friendship. Her other friends were going to be there, and they were going to take a flight to Durban. Now, because I work a 9 to 5 and there's things called leave days, I decided that instead of taking, because they wanted to go on a Wednesday, right? I was like, okay, instead of going on a Wednesday, I'd rather take Friday off. Then I will come on Thursday night, because her home was like 3 hours away from my place. So I was like, I'd rather come at night on Thursday after work, or I'm gonna come on Friday. And then it was announced that her boyfriend with his friends, they were gonna go there on Thursday, so you can just come with them on Friday. Everything is just sorted, kumnandi. At some point they had asked me to use my credit card as like a security deposit for the car that we had hired to go to like her hometown, right? And I remember I couldn't give them, I don't even remember why I couldn't give them my credit card. I think it was maxed out or something like that. And then they ended up saying, actually, like, let's just use your details. The car will be in your name, because obviously a lot of businesses treat people who have jobs better than people who are self-employed. Let's just put it like that. So I had gone there to like take care of that. And you remember, the person who's delivering the car, the hired car, needs to hand the keys over to the person whose details are on the books. So I had gone there for that. And I remember her boyfriend had suggested that I sleep over, because him and his friends, they were all gonna sleep over. You could say me and my friend were, I don't know, part of the boys, because she was like part of the boys, and automatically I was part of the boys. So I remember at that point they were like, why don't you just sleep here? We'll all sleep here, and then we'll wake up tomorrow. It's going to be easier too, And I was considering it, until something in me was like, actually, go home. And I remember it was very last minute because we did the whole thing and we were still chilling. And something was just like, my child, go home. And I was like, actually, let me go home. Because also, when I came over, I didn't have like my stuff. So they were like, you can just go back home, get your stuff, then come back, sleep over. We wake up, we get anything that we need to get, and then we go. So now, obviously, this is my excuse that, my stuff is not takatakan. I might come back, but I doubt I'm going to because I'm very slow when it comes to packing. But I'll definitely be here tomorrow. What time should I be here tomorrow? Is 8 fine? They're like, yeah, 8. Definitely we need to have left by 10. Then I left. Get home, pack everything. Now, I don't know if I'm too African, but if you are very African and you're very traditional, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Also, I know it just happens to a lot of people actually in general. When you're not supposed to go somewhere, a lot of things happen. And it's different for everyone. For me, if I'm not supposed to go somewhere, I am going to get so fatigued. I'm going to get so tired. I am going to be very slow. There's also just this distinct feeling that I get when I shouldn't be where I'm going. I remember I woke up the following day, it was a Friday, and I was just like, oh, I feel so sick. And it's not like physically sick, I'm just like so tired, and there's just this nagging feeling. I know something is gonna go wrong. I wonder what it is. And I remember at that time I thought we were probably gonna have like problems on the road, maybe like an accident, or maybe the police were going to stop us. Like I was just thinking about like something that has to do with the car, because the hired car is in my name. So I just charged it to that to make myself feel better. And one thing that I hate about this distinct feeling, it doesn't pass, or like it doesn't go away until what needs to happen has happened, or what is going to happen happens. It just doesn't go away. You have to wait it out until you see what happens. Because it first started with maybe something is going to happen with my car when I'm going like over to their apartment, because I was supposed to leave my car at their apartment. And when I drove safely to their apartment, I was like, okay, then it's definitely the car that is hired. I hope it's not something too bad that I can't fix, because I'm obviously responsible for the car because it's under my name. I'm gonna use this hyaluronic acid serum from the same brand that made this cleanser. It looks like this. It's very hydrating. We go there. They obviously got there on Wednesday. We go there on Friday. We get there. Everything is fine, right? Meet the other friends. Everything is fine. The festivities start. Now, I need you to take note that I'm vlogging. Okay? I'm vlogging. Keep that in mind. Everything that I'm saying to you right now, that I'm telling you right now, is something that comes up later in the story when I'm being confronted about these things. Ne? Keep that in mind. Then comes the day. It was on a Saturday. So we got there on Friday. Saturday, festivities. Sunday, we're leaving. We're going back home. Saturday, everything is nice. Hey, we're having so much fun. The mcimbi starts, the ceremony starts. Ellies are having so much fun. We are there with our traditional attires. The girlies look so cute. We're just having fun. Keep it in mind, as I'm saying, I am vlogging. And I remember at some point while I was vlogging, I gave her little brother my camera and I was like, listen, tell her what you must. Make it interesting. I need this to be a banger. We have the after party. Everything is nice. Sunday comes, obviously because they flew to Durban, they're flying back to Joburg, and because I was with the boys, I'm gonna travel back to Joburg with the boys in the car, right? We separate, everything is fine. We go back home because my car is parked at their apartment. We go there. I think the guy, did he fetch it the same night? The guy that we hired the car from, I don't remember. We go there and I fetch my car. And then I can see that they are still like at the airport, or like they are arriving or something like that. I'm like, look, I can come fetch you guys. You don't have to get an Uber to come back home. And she's like, no, it's fine. And obviously, Sunday blues are kicking my ass. You know, that Sunday sadness that gets you just before the end of the day. So I just wanted like some great company. I didn't mind driving because I was not the one who was driving. So I didn't mind driving, going to the airport and getting them back to her place. As I said, I don't like exchanging words over text and over the phone because some things get lost in the translation. And I swear, I looked at how everything was unfolding and I was like, something's wrong. I can feel that something is wrong. I just don't know what it is yet. And I hate Uguti. I'm gonna have to sit with this knowing feeling that something is wrong. Nothing happened over the weekend. Nothing happened with the cars. So I know something is wrong. I go back home. I continue with my life. Following Monday, later, it was like in the evening, we had a group chat on WhatsApp for the traditional ceremony, and it was like us girls in it. So someone, one of her other friends, had posted a picture of like a picnic style vibe on the floor at her apartment. They shared it on the group, like they just posted the picture on the group, just the picture, no caption, no words. I text jokingly and I say, how ansang memi, so you didn't invite me. Everyone read my text and didn't respond. And I was like, okay, now I'm very sure that something is wrong. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong. And I don't pay attention to it. I'm just like, it is what it is. If something is wrong, it's gonna reveal itself. But I definitely know now that something is wrong. I remember I had left some of my stuff at her place. And whenever I would like try to go over to her place, she would always come with like silly excuses. I'm leaving right now, or I'm in Santon, or I'm going to Santon right now, or I'm in a meeting. Like there was just always an excuse. And now remember, as I did say, I use my brain cells a lot. I know when something is wrong. I cram people. I'm hyper aware. Let's put it like that. So if you do something and I get used to you doing something, once you change, I'll know that something has changed, So that's what happened in this case. Here's how the setup was. I would spend so much time with them to a point where even if they're busy, I could literally go there and just chill and wait for them to not be busy anymore. We have drinks, we have shisha, we talk, we play games. It's nice. If I sleep over, I sleep over. That's how close we had gotten in terms of just like me just coming over. So if you have a meeting, you'll go in your bedroom and me, I'll stay in the living room. I'll watch TV. I'll go to the kitchen. Like that's just how we were. So if I say, hey, can I see you? Like I'm coming over, I miss you, can I see you? Or hey, I need this, let me come over, and you're just like, I'm busy, like multiple times. Because I'm not discounting the fact that sometimes you're not there, and there's no need for me to be at your place when you're not there. And sometimes like you really are just truly busy and you can't attend to me, or you're out, like it happens. But if I ask to come over and you say no 50 million times, maybe I was too much. Ne? Sometimes I come on too strong. So I'm taking mental notes as all of this is happening. How? Since when do you say you are busy 50 million times in a row? The last time I actually saw her, I was at work. So something was just like, you need to force the situation. I obviously understand it's not looking good, but you need to force the situation and actually go there. I remember I was just like, you know what? Actually, I'm coming. She was like, no, I'm about to. I was like, I'm not going to be there for a long time. I'm passing by. I just need my stuff. Surprisingly, she said okay. I think she said she had a meeting. As I said, I worked 10 minutes away from her place, and it was less than 10 minutes if you are breaking the laws. My plan at that point was that if I can, I'm obviously going to ask, like, what's wrong? You're behaving really, really sketchy, and I'm not sure what's going on right now. If I can get that in and get her to like kind of tell me what's going on, I get there, and let me tell you, as soon as I walked through the kitchen, ne, it was so cold. You could feel the vibes that something is wrong. That feeling was intense. I go in there. Let me paint a picture of the before. Before, I would get there as soon as I walk through the door. Mngani, hey friend, let's do this and this and that. This, everyone is just happy to see everyone. Now, compared to this, I walk in, it's very, very cold. Like the energy, you could feel the energy in the house. It's very quiet, it's very cold. Before, if people were playing games in the house, everyone stops playing games and everyone reads everyone. If we're eating together. If we're having drinks, smoking shisha, we are doing it together. There's no, oh, hi, and you continue with the gaming console, But this time it happened. You can see that, man, no one is happy to see you. And it's not like before. I get my stuff. Oh, then she's like, so we have a meeting right now, so I'm gonna need you to leave. Remember what I said before? I would literally get there. If you're in a meeting, I'll sit on the couch. You can disappear to the kitchen. You can disappear to your bedroom, have your meeting, come back and we'll chill. But today, you're asking me to leave? Something is definitely wrong now. Basically, I went there to get my stuff and I just needed confirmation because at some point I felt like I was being... Sometimes I get like paranoid and sometimes I just read too much into stuff. So I just wanted to be sure that it's what I was thinking. And I got the confirmation that, okay, something is definitely wrong. I don't know what it is yet. I'm hoping to find out. And I was hoping to get one in, and just ask, like, what's wrong? Are you okay? After she says that, I'm like, okay, I got my confirmation. I don't think there's a need for me to even ask. It's fine. I take my stuff and I leave. I don't remember if it was a few days later or if it was a few weeks later. It's on Heritage Day, unofficial Heritage Day, because Heritage Day in that year was on a Saturday. So on Friday, obviously companies, your 9 to 5s will celebrate Heritage Day. So I'm at work, it's on a Friday, at around 1:40 something. Tla message. I open WhatsApp, it's a book, not even a paragraph. It's a book, long paragraph. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I read through it. And the paragraph says, hey, I'm sure you've noticed that I've been off, but basically I'm mad at you because it has come to my attention that you have been flirting with my man. And I'm like, huh. And it goes on. People at home were just not happy with that. How can you do this and this and that? I said I was vlogging. She points out a specific detail, event, nyana, that the previous days I was editing. She's like, you did this, you did that. If you're Zulu, you know that when there's a coming of age ceremony, umemulo, what happens is that obviously people who came to the ceremony, they shower the owner of the event with money and gifts. And our job as the people who are her friends is to celebrate, the people around her, the people who are there with her to celebrate. It's to celebrate with you and also on your behalf. So she mentioned that I had tried showing my bum to her boyfriend and her family was not happy with that. And I was like, showing bum? Me? Why? I'm like, hey, kanjani? I know what she's talking about. And now, remember, this message is coming in at 1 p.m. and I'm still at work. So now it's difficult to focus because I know what she's talking about and I need to go and verify, because one thing about me, I never want someone to be unhappy because of something that I did, or just be mad because of something that I did. So I knew what she was talking about, but that's not what happened. So she's like, my family was not happy that you were trying to show your bum to my partner. I'm gonna try and find a clip and show you a clip of what happens in a regular, like, coming of age ceremony. That's exactly what I did. Now, the catch is, I didn't do it alone. One of her other friends, we did it together. She went before me and she geared and she did the celebration thing in front of the guy, and I was there too, and we did it together. But I was the one that got crucified for it. And also, another thing, how am I trying to show you my bum if I'm wearing tights underneath? I was wearing biker shorts underneath and they were covering my bum. So how am I trying to flirt? And here's another thing that gagged me, and it made me mad also, because how, like, are we even friends? This person, at some point, she cried because something was going on, something was going wrong, something was just going wrong in the room. It was after, like, the whole thing, and she was very upset by the whole thing. And we were together in the room alone, in her bedroom alone. And she was crying, she was complaining, and I was like, what do you need me to do? I'm so sorry. I understand how you feel. Fuck whoever it is. And I'm just there trying to comfort her, right? This is a perfect opportunity for you to tell me that actually uyangijwayela wena. Why did you do something like that? Because we are together in the space. How are you crying on me? How are you so upset and I'm comforting you and we are talking and you're not bringing it up and being like, hey, actually, I don't appreciate that you were doing this and this and that, so that I can explain and then we can talk about it. She never said anything. She acted like nothing was wrong. Only to come a month later and then tell me that she's not happy because this is what happened, right? Remember, we're still in this moment. I just found out, I've just read the book long paragraph. She's like, actually, she doesn't even think she wants to be my friend anymore, because also she's just been feeling guilty for, like, spending time with her other friends because demand too much time and I talk about it with the people that I work with. I'm just like, hey, I actually want your opinion. This and this and this happened. This is what's going on. Everyone asked the same question, like, why didn't she talk to you about it while you guys were alone at that point when she was upset? If you're so mad at me at this point right now, then you wouldn't even be, like, crying to me and talking to me about what's going on and what's upsetting you, because you would be angry at me. You would be talking to someone else, right? Now I'm waiting to go home because I want to see the footage, because I know what I saw and I'm just like, I need to verify. Let me tell you what happened immediately after she sent the text. I read it and I was like, hey, where are you? Let me come talk to you. And she said, I'm moving out. I'm still busy. I'll let you know when I'm free. And I was like, okay, please let me know when you're free. I go home and I look at the footage. Guys, I am so glad that I gave her brother the camera, the fucking camera, and he caught it on camera. I looked at the whole thing. I obviously screen recorded the whole thing, showed it to anyone who cared to look, and people were like, okay, this is weird. Nothing is wrong here. Because as I said, I'm wearing biker shorts. Like, my bum and a bit of my thigh is covered. And what we are doing is what we do traditionally. So it's not like I'm trying to, I don't know, entice your man or something like that. Show my best friend. She's like, okay, I don't think there's anything wrong, but obviously you can, like, try to talk to her and understand, like, where she's coming from. Now let me tell you, that was the last time we spoke. The day she sent me the paragraph and she was like, hey, this is what happened, I'm not happy with this. And I was like, okay, let's actually sit down and talk about it because I'm confused. What are you talking about? She said, I'm moving out. I'm very busy. I'll get back to you. And I was like, okay, get back to me when you get the time. I need to talk to you. And she said, okay. That was the last time we spoke. We never spoke ever again. And then what happened was she kept checking my stories on Instagram, liking my stories, and and then on one fateful day, I noticed that she had unfollowed me, but she left me as like her follower. And I was like, oh. And also another thing, I think she told her friends they unfollowed me. That's how I knew that something was wrong. Everyone just started unfollowing me. Everyone blocked me. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Because as I'm saying, like a lot of things happened before I actually found out what was going on. At random times, you would find out that someone blocked you or someone unfollowed you. And it's like, what do they know? So that was the last time I spoke to her. And I remember when this happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a month, for her to sort her stuff out. And then I'm going to reach out again and be like, hey, we still need to talk. And I remember at the end of October, I just decided that actually I've tried ever since we met. It has gotten to a point where it's very hard for me to tend to this relationship and care for it because I'm doing it alone. This person is not interested in being in this relationship with me. And she had also said it in the paragraph that she sent that she doesn't think she wants to be friends with me anymore because she feels guilty whenever she's with her other friends and she doesn't like feeling like that. I hate how manipulative that was. She did, and I only realized that she was very manipulative when we fell out the first time after I brought out my grievances and she said, I'm sorry, but you also did this. And I remember when we fell out the first time, I asked her, why are you bringing this up now that I'm bringing up my grievances? Why do you feel like this is the right time for you to tell me what you're not happy with when you had so much time to tell me that, listen, I'm actually not comfortable around you because you make me feel this way, you do this and this and this, you make me uncomfortable in this way. Why didn't you say that? I spent so much time trying to figure out after it happened, like, what did I do? I thought back to immediately, like on the Thursday, what did I do that might have suggested that, like I'm flirting, that might have been seen as like flirting? Because the one thing that she highlighted in bold was that while we were dancing and celebrating, that I was trying to flash her partner with my bums, which is something that I did not do. The one thing that just put me to rest was the fact that I had the footage and I watched it and I was sure it was okay. I didn't do anything wrong, according to me. And other people who are not me watched it too and they were like, okay, there's nothing that you did wrong. I'm obviously not trying to like be like, hey, because this is traditionally accepted, you should be okay with it. I understand if you're not. That's another thing, guys. I'm a very understanding person, but people still manage to do me dirty, hey? I don't get it. You could literally sit me down right now and be like, hey, I actually didn't like that you danced like that and you did all of that. If you're not comfortable with something, you're not comfortable with something. But I felt like, like right in the end, as a friend, I was not cared for. And I think for a while I was mad at the fact that I gave the relationship my all. In the end, once I realized that it was a one-sided relationship, it really did hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I obviously tried to act like a thug, but it did hurt to be treated like that in the end. Also, another thing, like, till this day, guys, I wanna know who told you that. Guys, do you understand? I think for the first, I want to say week, I sat, ne? It was like I was in an episode of How to Get Away with Murder and I was dissecting everyone. And Everyone was a suspect, and I was not going to let it fade to the background, because obviously I care for you and I love you as a friend. But I was just like, I'm the one who's always trying. If she's serious about being my friend, I also want to see her trying. If she really wanted to have the conversation, I believe she would have come back, even if it's 2 months later, to say, hey, I'm free now. My sister said she believed at that point that she was just trying to get an out. Maybe she just didn't want to be a friend anymore, and this was like the easiest way to do it. Even if it was a misunderstanding, you can't come back from something like this. If someone doesn't want to be a friend anymore, she's not going to try and understand the situation or whatever. That's what happened. To be honest, it did hurt my feelings, and it did change the way that I approach friendships. I give my all and I literally don't get anything back, and I'm tired. I would pay some good money to hear what was said and to find out what actually happened. I'm not afraid to admit, guys, I would pay good money to know what happened. Like, I really wish someone would tell me, listen, so and so said they saw you doing this and this and that, and you did this and this and that. Friendship breakups are very tough, especially if it's just sudden. Instead of the person being a grown-up about it, they just decided that actually you're the one who's wrong. I don't care what actually happened. I'm sadly now break. Before I end this video, there's nothing more painful than seeing, whether it's like your romantic ex-partner or an ex-friend, treating someone or giving other people the treatment that you used to beg for. Seeing people getting flowers, getting like, hey, congratulations, friend. People being called top tier friends. I wish I actually reached out again and made sure Uguti I found out what happened at that point. I wish I did that, because I didn't do that because of pride, but now being a bit more grown and like a bit wiser, I should have gotten to the bottom of stuff for myself, for the part of me etanda indaba, but also just to lay things to rest. Because guys, not knowing what's happening, what's cooking, it's very difficult. That's why it was, for like the first year, I was waiting. You know what? Maybe uzobuya, and maybe like she will tell me like what actually happened. I was just supposed to reach out for my sake, because I was just like, yo, I'm tired. But looking back, I should have just tried one more time, because at least now I would be telling you who said what. You see, you have to learn to do things for the plot. If you liked the video, feel free to click the like button down below. Leave a comment. Have you gone through a friendship breakup? How did you feel? What happened? Tell me about it. Tell me if I was wrong. Because also another thing, guys, Mina, I'm always open to like being criticized and being told that I was wrong. Because at the end of the day, I'm human. I am not always going to do the right thing. So if you feel like I was being shady, tell me in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get monetized this time, and I actually mean it. I will see you in the next video. Happy Vlogmas.